today we are going to have a seminar on Middle East education and job fair 2020. And I want to thank a few people to make this even possible. And these are my sweet panelists, the technical team, Berkeley Middle East Holding in Middle East, Berkeleyme Global in UK, Berkeley, California in US, and training and consultancy divisions. They really work hard to bring all this content and the people on board so they can explain all this beautiful information to the candidates. We know that internal auditing is a blood of every organization. If you have effective controls, you have efficiency in day-to-day operations. You want to bring a systematic, objective assurance and consulting staff in your organization. So internal auditor is really, really important. And those organizations who spend money in internal structuring, internal organizations and compliance, so they really get out of a great value because their reporting saves the organization resources, optimize the energy, synergies, and bring valuable inputs in day-to-day life. They focus on internal efficiency and improvements. So I'm lucky to have two certified internal auditors in this panel who is going to share their insight that how important is the internal auditing and what is the future and present of this qualification. Please welcome these panelists. So I want to introduce everyone. Ankur is a qualified internal auditor. He's going to explain today what is internal auditing and how it works. And we have live from Saudi Arabia, our dear friend Kozai Osta. He is a qualified internal auditor, and he is one of very few Saudis who did this, and they are the proud of nation. So I welcome you, Kosai, in this event. And I will start with the informal introduction. So, Kosai, if you can introduce yourself to the audience, they are very excited to know about you.
Yes. Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Kusai Osta from Saudi Arabia. I have 20 years experience in auditing, especially in FMCG and aviation and navigation. Actually, I have been met with Dr. Musa since 5 years ago, 6 years ago, in one of the conference we had met there, and it was for me that time. It's very happy and nice to me to meet Dr. Musa, and after that we was established the relationship and we had friends. So after that, one day I just asked Dr. Musa, I just would like to start my the qualifications. So he advised me that if you are in the internal audit career, so you have to start with the CIA. That time I decided, and I started with Berkeley. That actually it was very important to me to give me all importance and to give me all guidelines to how to study, to how to make everything. So that's it. That's what I just want to say.
Oh, that's great. That's a very lovely introduction.
Thank
And
you.
I will keep asking several questions about your journey and your success story so other people can get inspiration and they can follow you as a internal auditing leader, business leader. So I will move to Ankur. Ankur, can you please let us know what is CIA? Generally, when I search CIA in Google, then this Intelligence Agency of America comes. And so then I have to use my different keywords. So, what is CIA examination, certification, hard work? What are the parts? Would you like to enlighten us with the program information?
Sure. Just allow me to share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible?
Please go ahead.
Is my screen visible?
It's visible. I'm
Okay.
going.
Yeah. So I'll give a brief about Certified Internal Auditor program. But before starting with the program, I want to explain more about what is internal audit, because when I started my career in internal audit, that was one of the questions that I also did not know about, or I did not understand the importance of internal audit. As Dr. Musa already explained about the internal controls and internal efficiencies, I would like to give a more formal definition of what is internal auditor, or what is the function and what is the role of internal auditor. So again, if I were to define the internal auditor, internal audit or internal audit profession actually works with the board, or with the is an independent entity which is designed to enhance the companies or organizations GRC mechanism. So what is GRC? GRC is governance, risk, and compliance. So they are predominantly working in order to improve the governance, risk, and then compliance of the organization. So again, it governance, risk, and compliance is very foreign word. How it actually operates is basically you always have a board, and then an audit committee, and then you have an independent internal audit function which reports to audit committee, and then ultimately reports to board. The function is basically to analyze the governance structure of organization, analyze the internal efficiencies of company, analyze the business processes, understand the business processes, and identify the deficiencies in order to have a better internal control. So that is a very brief about the internal audit. So now what is this program? So this program is again this qualification is awarded by Institute of Internal Auditor. So Institute of the Internal Auditor is basically the prime, or just like a CFA institute is for the CFA program, IIA is for the CIA program. So again, it's a gold standard for anyone in internal audit profession. So again, as Mr. Kosai explained, that even after 15 years, he felt the need of internal audit, and then he will then explain that what internal audit, what the certification of internal audit actually helped him, or how it helped him in his profession. Going further, who is eligible? So again, there are so many caveats and then so many eligibility criteria. But in short, you need to have a degree. If you don't have a degree, then you need to have an experience in internal audit. However, even if you don't have experience, still you can study for CIA and then take CIA program at any level. And then you can start working in internal audit profession, or you can complete your degree, and then after that you can you will be eligible for CIA certificate or CIA designation. So in order to achieve CIA designation, so it requires couple of things. One is either you have a 2-year post-secondary education and 5 years of experience, or otherwise you have 7 years of experience. Again, so ACCA member, they have an advantage, or they have a choice wherein they can appear for a CIA challenge exam. It is nothing but if I remember correctly, it's almost like 7.5 years, 7.5 hours exam, wherein they can appear for all 3 levels of CIA together and then complete the exam. Okay, who should take this program? Again, CIA predominantly is taken by people who are into internal audit profession, people who are into risk management, people who are into compliance function. So these are the predominant category of people who take who take the CIA program. But apart from that, again, the inventory manager, accountant, bankers, and CEO and chairman also benefits a lot if they have the understanding of internal control, how a business processes work, how an internal control function, and how is it supposed to function, and what are the deficiencies and how can you remove those deficiencies. Moving on, what is the program structure? CIA program is divided into 3 parts. First part is, again, so they test you on different areas of internal audit practice. One, so the CIA part 1 tests you on the governance or the internal audit's role in governance and risk control. Again, it is further divided into 3 major areas. One is the mandatory guidance, internal control risk, and then conducting internal audit engagement. So mandatory guidance again talks more about the independence and objectivity, how they are supposed to be independent at the same time work to improve the governance, risk, and compliance of the function of the entity. Similarly, internal control risk is about, again, the deficiencies of internal control, how to identify the deficiencies, and what can be the recommendation to improve the internal controls. And then again, the last part is on the conducting of the the internal audit tools itself, wherein what kind of or what should be the process, how to improve or how to carry out the internal audit, and so forth and so on and so forth. Moving on to part 2, it talks about the core internal audit. So it talks about how to conduct internal audit, how to manage internal audit function, and again, more on the control, fraud, risk, and controls. So in terms of managing internal audit, it starts with planning, execution, reporting. Again, what kind of so how will you manage your function? What kind of specialization you need? How would you define the internal audit plan for the year, for 5 year? You then so it dwells into all these things, wherein you first plan the internal audit activity, and then you execute, and then finally report, and then close the activity. And then the third part is about the knowledge elements. So it talks about, so if you see, this is basically the inputs which are required to conduct an effective internal audit. So you have the business and governance and business ethics, you have the risk management, you have organization structure, you have IT. A lot of emphasis is now given on the IT and the business continuity part of it. You have the financial management. So these are the broad areas which are you are exposed to in level 3, and then these are tested because again, these are the primary input that an internal auditor need in order to effectively carry out the internal audit activity. So if you see the entire spectrum of the CIA curriculum, it's very fast, it's very vast, it dwells into so many areas, and it gives you an exposure, an introductory exposure in many areas in order to understand and then go about your internal audit assignments. Moving on, what is the exam format, exam duration, and exam date? So exam format, so for CIA part 1, again, all these 3 parts have multiple choice questions. As far as I remember, there are 4 options to each of the questions. Part 1 has 125 multiple choice question, part 2 has 100 multiple choice question, part 3 has 100 multiple choice question. For part 1, you get 2.5 hours. So again, it's almost like a minute to each question that you need to solve. Part 2, again, you have 2 hours to complete, and then part 3 also you have 2 hours to complete. And then again, it's a online based exam wherein you have to take an appointment before appearing for the exam. But again, it is conducted throughout the year, and then appointment can be taken quite easily. These are examination fee. It depends upon whether you are an IIA member, non-member, or a student. So if you are a student, then if you see, it's very cheap to, or it's very reasonable to, complete the CIA designation. However, if you are a working professional, then it makes sense to, associate with IIA. And then you can have all these. So examination fees is way lower for the IIA members. Again, exams are conducted through Pearson Test Center, and then the information is readily available. So that is not a concern. Yeah, that's it. That's the brief about the internal audit function and the CIA designation.
Oh, that's amazing. I think it's a very detailed program information, and I'm sure that everyone who even don't know CIA, they might get a better idea out of it. So let's move to Kosai and ask that what kind of skills you feel that you acquired from this qualification? Was it different before and after?
Yeah. Definitely, once you pass the CIA and you get the knowledge from the CIA, it's get you more of skills and knowledge. One of them is the quality of the work. So it will be different from the past and from the future. When you will know the standards, you will know what the best practice, what is you are doing. It's based on standards. It's based on guidelines. You can follow it to get more accurate report and more accurate information. More data analytical. You will be more analytical guy after the CIA. You need to go to more details to understand the situation, to understand the observation, to get your professional opinion on that. So more skills and a lot of skills you will get it from the internal audit itself. Internal audit career itself is give you the open ideas for each department in the company, in the business process. So yeah, so you will be aware and you will be supervised, or you can observe. Let me say observe better than supervise. you will observe the all business process in your company, so you will get more information, more skills. That's it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what you think that is internal auditing or internal controls? This is a good line. Do you really love it? And people can take it as a career. Is it a good line? What is your comment on it?
Internal audit is, as I told you, it is very comprehensive experience. It's after you in the internal audit career for 5 years, for example, and you want to shift to any other department, it's very easy for you because you're already aware of their business, of their work, of their process. So it gives you a lot of comprehensive information and knowledge for that. As I told you, maybe internal audit, it needs some relationship with you and with the other. Maybe sometimes because why I'm saying that, because the people sometimes they are not loving internal auditor too much, because the internal auditor can have their mistakes. So one of your skills it should be you are very diplomatic with all people, with your work and your quality and your standards and with others. So you have to be diplomatic. Yes.
Yeah, I think you raise a very, very important point that is called attitude of people towards the auditor, which is always part which hurt the auditor itself, because auditor is going to audit for adding the value, reviewing the processes so he can guide that is there any gap. They can do
Yes.
gap analysis. They can pictorialize it in terms of a flow diagram in order to understand. And during this process, if they find there are some system loopholes, internal auditor can easily identify this. So this is a very valid point, and that's what actually I asked, that what is your take, that if you have an opportunity to become an internal auditor, so you will again become an internal auditor. So I can
Of
see,
course.
yes, you have a lot of passion about internal auditing, and internal auditing is changing actually. If you see this COSO, ERM, then then COVID 2020,
Yeah.
and this blockchain and fintech, and this all is going to affect the internal auditing. System auditors are now coming, and this CISA qualification is very getting popular because we all work on systems now. So what is your take, Ankur, on as an internal auditor, you feel that CIA qualification really helped you? Was it a difference before and after?
Yeah, as Mr. Kosai said, it's pretty much about you are doing something and you know the background about why you are doing it. So the qualification actually gives you the tools and the and explains the logic about why you are doing it. And it's not only about why you are doing it. It also gives you new dimension to think about. So in terms of, for example, IT is a very new or very upcoming subject which not many people are aware of. But even, while going through with level 3 curriculum, I could understand so many things about, the IT security, IT infrastructure, and then that was uh, I could I could easily implement those things in my IT control assessment assignment. So that way it really helped. Also, it gives you a very broad overview as well, that where internal audit stands, and what is the role and duty of the internal auditor as well. So again, you are supposed to be independent, you are supposed to be objective, but the curriculum actually tests you a lot, and then it helps you to understand your value and whom you are working for. So it's not that you are working for a management, it's you are working for a board and even higher authorities, right? So then it is imperative to be independent and then give your professional qualification professional
So,
recommendations.
what you think, like, what are the challenges an internal auditor has into day-to-day life?
Yeah, so one of the challenge, as Mr. Kosai said, you are not always welcome, because again, you are trying to, review their work in order to identify the gaps. However, based on my experience recently, is if you can create an atmosphere wherein you are considered as a partner, then people are very open in sharing details. They are very open in sharing in knowing where the gaps are. They are very open in working with you to identify some of the areas or some of the gaps. So again, because business people, they are very occupied in doing the analysis on a company wide level, and then that's where, if you can add value to their process, if you can make them understand that why something which you are suggesting, is it practical, this is first thing that you need to ask yourself, and then you need to put the same question to them also. Is it practical enough? Is it implementable enough? And if it is implementable enough, do you want to implement those things? And if yes, then what is the correct way of implementing those things? So if you can somehow project yourself rather than an auditor, but more of a facilitator and a partner, then it really helps you. And then that is also one of the challenges, or one of the greatest challenges, that I have seen in multiple companies. I have seen many of my colleagues face, because unless so it's like you are suggesting it to someone, unless you yourself know about what you are talking about, then your reputation actually goes for a toss. So
that's
that is
great.
a fair balance basically that you need to maintain.
That's amazing, So, because I like being a part of audit committee. Do you think this committee is really important and it serves the purpose as a organizational protection, or it protects the resources, or they are just committees and just we don't have any value out of it? What do you think?
No, of course, no. The audit committee is very important because it give the authorization and give the power and give the internal audit charter approval to the audit to internal audit department. So internal audit department is take his authority from audit committee and the board. As you know, the audit committee is a committee of behind of the board. So the audit committee they have full power. So the one of the governance that mean an audit committee should be there and should be supervise and review the internal audit work. Once the audit committee is I think once the audit committee are strong, so the audit department will be also strong because they will give him full authority, full access, the charter, and they can push him and give him the power to the work. Okay, so it's very important. The audit committee should be strong and it should be there.
That's
And as
great.
you know,
I,
yeah, for the internal audit department, it should be reporting to the audit committee, and the audit committee should be independent than the management. Functionally, they are reporting to the audit committee. So it's very important. In my opinion, the audit committee is more important things.
I think this Sarbanes-Oxley 2002 Act, which came into corporate governance, and they made this audit committee as compulsory in listed companies at least, So that was a really good decision that
Yes,
comes out as, and the way Saudi Arabia and UAE has adopted SOX, this is also very exemplary because not every country has prompted to these regulations so quick and so fast. But the good thing about the Gulf countries is they are very keen to opt, and even they want to supersede, by opting latest methodology and internal control techniques, tools, structures, frameworks. That's an amazing. So let's do our closing remarks. Kusai, what you advise the newcomers who are listening to you, that whenever they think about CIA course, what they should keep in mind? Is it a good course? They should take it. And while they are taking, sometimes you fail one time, two times. So, and candidate get disturbed and they leave it most of the time. So, what you will advise them, what they should do?
first of all, if you are you are internal auditor and you didn't start, you have to or you must to start it in CIA. That's it of all. Don't lose the don't wait. Second things, it's not difficult. Oh?
Yeah, now it's
Yeah.
better. Yes.
In the same time, yeah, okay. And in the same time, it's not easy. It is difficult, but in the same time, it's not easy. You have to give attention. You have give to time. The time is will be takes from your family time, from your day time, from your healthy time. So you have to spend sometimes. I'm not say 24 hours every day, but it should be at least 2 hours or 1 hour and a half. It is based on your schedule and your plan and how you will deal with the practices. So if you need to be a proficient, if you need to be more skilled in the internal audit, don't wait. You have to start with the CIA. And my personal opinion, select the right training center. So if you, because one of my mistakes in the fact I selected one training center but was not good for me. It was not give me the good guidelines, give me the important area to so you have to select the right place. Actually, I will recommend bakery. If you can and you have a time, you can register with the bakery, because they actually give me the very good guideline that time, and they are have a both and a class, and the trainers very good. They are very helpful for you. That's it. My advice.
That's great. That's a so lovely advice. And Kusai, I want to thank you for joining this panel and take out a time from your busy schedule. And I'm looking forward to have you more in my next shows. Thank you very much for being part of us today.
Thank you, Dr. Musa. Thank you. Thank you for all. Thank you, Ankur. Thank you.
Ankur, thank you very much for being part of the show today. And you are a great value as a trainer, as a professional. And I'm sure that students and the newcomer is going to get a lot of knowledge and exam tips as they will join Berkeley, and they will see you live in front of them. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm looking forward to have you more in the next shows.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Musa.